Well, Yarmo, you told us that there would be a discussion between yourself and Adam about the potential path. So what ultimately led to today after discussion?
It was a brief discussion. I think we both felt that he was ready to take the next step, the next challenge. We were very clear on that in the conversation with him. We watched him all year on different levels in college, in the World Junior, Men's World Championships, playing against mostly NHL players. He's a big man, as you can see. He's physically ready. He's mentally ready to take the next step and the next challenge, and that was our position, and he agreed. And the intra-level contracts are not rocket science, so that didn't take very long. And there's plenty of comparables there where he was drafted, and we agreed on it very quickly and got it signed today.
Go ahead, Hedge.
Just a couple of years ago, you had, excuse me, Cole Sillinger at 18 years old, youngest guy in the league all year long, go right from the NHL or from the draft to the NHL. Do you feel like with Adam going to college and being a year older, kind of like what you're talking about the draft, that he's maybe even better set up to go through that?
Yeah, I always talk about the hockey year older with the late births, and that's what Adam is. He turns 19 in October. And Cole was an 18-year-old through the whole season. He's also coming from junior, which is a little bit different than coming from college. I think that makes a difference too. And he also played in the men's level in the World Championships, which gave us another good opportunity to evaluate how ready he would be coming into the first season and first training camp. And we were all convinced that he's ready.
Go ahead, Porty.
Yarmo, what do you expect and what should fans expect from Adam as a first-year NHL player?
Improvement every day. Come to work with the mindset of being a better player. What can we do today to be a better hockey player and better pro? And I think that's one of the big reasons why we drafted him. We think he has that mindset, and he's driven to get better. And that's basically what I always say about young players. We don't put any numerical expectations on young players like him. We just expect him to come to work every day to get better.
Can you say what this does to your center depth chart now, how you look at that position versus how you did maybe 3 days ago?
Oh, I think it's huge for us. Center icemen, I've said this 1,000 times, they're so hard to come by through a trade or even free agency. They're very rarely available, and there's everybody competing for them, so you got to draft and develop them, and now we got a good one, and for a long time. So big, skilled, fast, competitive, all those things that we talked about right after the draft, and it's going to be real big for us.
Yarmo, so far you've had a bit of a slow start to free agency. I think a lot of people expected that. Did Adam's arrival kind of help contribute to maybe you didn't have to do as much at the early going?
Well, it's a slow start maybe in this room, but we've been fast at it the whole day with everything that we're working on, and sometimes, like I say, there's 31 other teams competing, and the opportunities they present may be better than what we have, and we're not in a rush to do something just to do something. It has to be the perfect fit for us with the perfect term and the dollars that fit under the cap and into our plan. So if we find that piece that makes us better, we'll do it. But if we don't, then we'll continue with the group that we have right now. And I think we've gotten a lot better, like I said, just from getting healthy and adding 2 defensemen and now adding Adam into the mix. So I have full confidence that we will be a lot better going into next year with a new head coach.
Hedge, go ahead.
Is goaltending depth something you would like to address in this free agency period?
Yeah, that's something that we've been working on today. I think we have 2 very talented goalies that are going to be here with us next year with Elvis and Tarasov. And if we could add something into the depth, we got Chet Greaves in Cleveland, who's a very promising young man and played 1 game in the NHL. And we all remember how good he was in that game, but he may need some time to develop and may not be ready for longer periods in the NHL yet, and the goalie position, as we all know, is one of the hardest ones to develop into a full-time NHL player. So we're going to be patient, and with our new goalie coach, Nicholas Backstrom, who made it to the NHL as a 28-year-old and played 8 years, we're in good hands, and we're going to bring everybody along properly.
Sorry, one last one. At the draft, second day, I believe we were talking about kind of the situation up front with a little bit of a backlog. A lot of NHL caliber players there, also on the back end, and you're saying that maybe you might have to address something at some point. Is that something, addressing those situations? Is that something you would have hoped to have done by now, like either at the draft?
That's why I said we're not in a rush. I think it's a good thing to have depth, and we saw how many injuries we had last year, that you need that depth, and now we got 9 NHL caliber players competing for six spots that play every night, and we could easily carry 8 on the roster. That's not a problem, and we don't have to rush Jiricek, who's going to be a real good defenseman for us for a long time, and if he's ready, he'll push somebody out of the lineup, but we're not going to have him as a 7th. Sitting in the press box, that's not where he's developing properly, and so unless he's playing in a big role, good minutes, making sure that we develop him the right way, he can continue playing in the minors. But if he is one of our best defensemen, then we'll probably be making a move at that time. But we're not in a rush.
It's not often an organization signs a new head coach, puts him out there, puts their franchise center out there. Does it feel like just a massive day for the Jackets, and how much momentum do you hope this gives for the program moving forward here?
Yeah, it's a big day for us, and we were hoping that getting Adam at the draft, that we would get him signed. We were sort of confident that we would. We had conversations with him through the interviews and the time we spent with him at the combine, and we had an idea that I think he'd be ready in his own mind too. So, but until the signature is on paper, you never know, and now it is, and now we have a great future center with us developing, and under the new head coach, and he's going to get a great opportunity here. We have a lot of opportunity at center ice to play a big role even at the age of 19.
Hedge.
Mike Babcock mentioned this earlier today, just about on a team that has some young guys or a number of young guys, it's important to have the veteran leaderships, the guys who know how it's done right. How key is that when you're thinking about some of your veterans that you have in that room right now, when you have Adam coming in and Jiricek and guys like that?
Yeah, I think we got a real good mix already. We got our own leadership group here, led by our captain Boone Jenner. We added 2 veteran defensemen who've been around for a long time. David Severson's is a great leader and a great team player, and he's going to bring that example here every day. Provorov's been in the league for a long time, and you all met him. He's an extremely hardworking player that takes a lot of pride in being the best shape possible, and is driven to get better. So those 2 are good additions to our group on the leadership front.
Anyone else for Jarmo? Okay, great. Thanks,
Thank you.
Jarmo. Your turn. All right, if you have a question for Adam, go ahead and raise your hand. We'll get you a mic.
Adam, congratulations.
Thank you very
Welcome
much.
to the NHL.
Thank you.
Just your thought process and how the meeting went with Jarmo about your decision where you wanted to play next year. Can you just take us through it?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we were discussing it pretty quick, and I had a pretty good feeling, and I assumed that he had a pretty good feeling as well. And like you said, going through the interview process at the combine and everything that way, I thought we had a really good relationship there, and hopefully we can continue to develop that. But I think it was a ready, like just trying to feel ready, him feeling ready, myself feeling ready, and I thought we were both confident, so that's kind of what led to the decision.
Yeah. And how important it was for you to show Michigan and college hockey sort of the proper level of respect, to not just say, I'm leaving, like you wanted to really go through the process with this. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I called my head coach. He was the first person I called to let him know, and right after that conversation, I texted my team group chat and thanked them for everything, and thanked them for all the support and everything they did for me this season. And after that, I wanted to be able to give certain tributes to the University of Michigan and their fan base there. And after that, I started focusing more on being here and being present here. But I definitely wanted to pay a quick tribute to Michigan for everything they did to me this year.
Okay, Mark here, front left.
Adam, congratulations. Welcome to Columbus.
Thank you.
The World Championship performance, how much confidence did that give you that you feel like that you can make the jump to the NHL now?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the tournament, I was kind of feeling out our systems, feeling out being in the locker room and learning how to fit in with those types of guys. And I think towards the end of the system, once I became confident in our system and once I became confident in playing the defensive side of it, I was able to be a bit more creative offensively and take maybe a couple more chances that way because I knew the system a little bit better. I knew how to recover a bit better, and I thought that helped me play a lot better in the meta rounds there. So towards the end of that tournament, I felt more and more ready, and obviously the NHL is the best league in the world, and I don't know how it's going to compare yet because I don't have any games played, but that did give me a pretty good sense playing around and being with guys like that.
We'll go to Justin in the back center.
Now that you're here and the building paper is signed, what does success look like these first few weeks? How do you want to get off on the right foot as you start your NHL career?
Yeah, just being here at development camp, and then I know we got training camp coming up after that, and everything in between. I'll just be training, trying to get stronger and faster, and be the best version of myself come game one.
See, Mike was in the building today. Did you get a chance to see him?
Yeah, I did.
How was the interaction?
Awesome. He's an amazing guy. He was a little bit in a rush. He had a meeting going on, but he took time to talk to myself and my father, and Gavin Brindley was with me as well, and we were all able to have a quick chat with him, and he seems like an amazing guy. I haven't had many interactions with him before that, but I'm really excited to play for him.
Jeff Svoboda here in the front.
So you spend kind of weeks and months wondering where you're going to end up, and then kind of happens. Then you're a Blue Jacket. Has it A, kind of sunk in yet? But B, also, what have you kind of learned about the organization in the maybe 3 days, I guess, now since you've been drafted?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of starting to sink in a little bit. I mean, wearing the jersey helps, but coming to the city and seeing how gorgeous it is, and watching that video of the fifth line and the watch party there, and how welcoming they're being has been amazing, and just trying to get ready. I mean, I'm trying to be the best version of myself I can be, like I said, and I'm just super excited.
Yeah. And I have to ask, obviously 19 was taken. I think 91 was taken. How'd you end up with 11?
Yeah, I mean, 9, 19, and 91 were all taken when I was picking, and I was just talking to my parents, and we thought that the ones would look good with the L's in my name, so we just didn't want to go with too high of a number, and just stayed with 11.
Go ahead, Porty.
Adam, I didn't stumble upon this myself, but October 12th is your birthday, yes?
Yeah,
Are you aware that that's opening night as well?
I am.
Is that pretty wild to you that that's going to unfold that way? Your NHL debut will also be your 19th birthday?
I'm pretty excited. Yeah, when I found that out, I'm pretty ecstatic. I mean, I do know Scott Lawton on Philly as well, and I'm really excited to get back on the ice and share the ice with him again. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that night.
Over here. I hear a lot of McKinnon with you. There are a lot of people who say, what are a comp for this player? And they'll say, he kind of plays like McKinnon a little bit. Is that a guy that you did pattern yourself after, like when you were at a younger age and trying to decide what kind of center you wanted to be?
Yeah, I mean, he's an NHL superstar, and he's, in my opinion, an amazing role model to a lot of Canadian kids. So just trying to model my game after him and try and play the way he does is something I did try and do as a younger kid. Obviously, every time I'm asked that question, I preface it by saying he's an NHL superstar and I'm just starting out. So trying to play like him is something that I have been trying to do, and hopefully I can get to one day.
And how cool was it? You mentioned Gavin on day 2 to be there. When Gavin gets drafted to the same team. He said you were like this, across the way. How much fun was that with the hug and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys saw that video, and I remember sitting there and just the first pick of the second round went, and Columbus was up, and I was just sitting on the side of the floor there, and I was just praying to God that it was Gavin. And when I said University of Michigan, I think I shot out of my chair. My chair hit the wall, and I wanted to run over there and hug his family with him too, but just waited for him to come down and give him that big hug. And we went through a lot together this year, and I respect him so much as a player and as a person, so I'm super excited for him as well.
Go Mark, your left.
Adam, I know you only spent 1 year at Michigan, but can you just describe what about that program has made it so good, and especially in your development as well?
Yeah, like I've said quite a few times, that's the closest team I've ever played on. We went through quite a bit of adversity at the start of the year with the passing of our equipment manager, Ian Hume, and what Stephen Holtz went through in the ICU there. And we kind of went through quite a few rough patches that way with a lot of illness on our team, and a rough start to our season that way. But I think that brought us together like quite a bit, and being able to go through that with them, and then coming to the rink every day. Our coaching staff was world class, and I think everybody in there is somewhat of a hockey nerd, and everybody wants to get better. And I think we come in every day, and our saying was kind of, everybody works hard, so what are you going to do after that, and try and get 1% better every day. So just going in there with that mindset and having like-minded people around you was so helpful.
I've never been to the locker room facilities at the University of Michigan. I'm sure they're very nice. What did you think about these ones when you saw them today? Have you seen these ones? Yeah.
I have. I just went to go take a look at it not too long ago, and it's definitely a bit of a step up. Obviously, Michigan has some really nice facilities, but they just redid this down here, and it's gorgeous.
Anything else for Adam? All right. Good? All right. Thanks, everybody.